Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, October 25, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let's just take a look at the US National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. And we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:16 p.m. Jamaica time, they still have no tropical cyclone activity that's expected across the Atlantic over the next 7 days. However, there's still a lot of talk, there's still a lot of buzz on social media about the possibility of patty forming across the Caribbean near Jamaica. As of this latest run from the Euro, we're going to be going out to the next 168 hours on both the Euro and the GFS, both supercomputer models from Europe and the other one from the United States. We're just going to be focusing our attention right here across the Caribbean, into the Western Caribbean, the Central Caribbean, even portion of the Southwestern Atlantic right here into the Bahamas, for some amount of moisture increased by the greens, the yellows, the oranges, reds, and a possible area of low pressure. So as we go out in time, we can definitely see the line of showers associated with that frontal system that has induced a trough in the portion of the Greater Antilles. As we head into Saturday, definitely a lot more rainfall expected, especially across northern or northeastern parishes in Jamaica. As we continue to go out in time, we see that it's definitely stationary. Even here as we head into Sunday, even here as we head into Monday, we still have the trough lingering across portion of the Greater Antilles, including Jamaica, not moving at all. So there's definitely going to be a lot of rainfall, especially across northern sections of the island. And as we continue to go out in time, as we go out, look at this. This is as we head out to the next 144 hours. This is as of 12Z on Thursday, which is actually 7 a.m. on Thursday. We start to see a lot of moisture across portions of the Southern Caribbean. Right there we even see an L that represents an area of low pressure. But we're going to be going out to the next 168 hours, and this is what we see. By the end of the 168 hours, which is actually 12Z on Friday, which is actually 7 a.m. on Friday, November 1, we still see some broad areas of low pressure across the southern or southwestern Caribbean. Lots of moisture down there as well, we see by the greens. We also see a lot of moisture right here to the north of Puerto Rico, to the north of Hispaniola, to the north of the eastern Caribbean. Definitely interesting times ahead. Let us see what the GFS model is showing for the same time period. So as we go out in time, we definitely see the long line of showers stretching all the way from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into portion of the Greater Antilles associated with the trough that has been induced by that frontal system. As we head into Sunday and Monday, we still see a lot of moisture across portion of the Greater Antilles, and most of this moisture will definitely be felt mainly across northern Jamaica, especially during the morning times and the night times, and during the afternoon on southern parishes, or more so central and western Jamaica. Definitely gonna be a wet end to the month of October across section of the island. And look at this, as we head into the next 144 hours, we start to see the area of low pressure formulating across the southwestern Caribbean, just like what we saw on the Euro model. Lots of moisture right down there. And then as we end it right here at the next 168 hours, we see what's happening. Clearly, the GFS is a bit more robust, has a lot more isobars, has a lot more rainfall. We see the dark greens, we see the yellows, oranges, reds, even the purples in there. That represents anywhere from 1 all the way up to 30 inches of rainfall. That's ridiculous amount of rainfall right there. But these are the 1 hour totals, and we can see the differences. Euro not so robust, with something forming across the Southern Caribbean. We see a lot of moisture. We see some kind of L, maybe some isobars down there that represent some kind of area of low pressure. GFS definitely a bit more robust. The GFS has definitely been doing the most. The GFS has done this in the past. I've seen this so many times in the past where the GFS is so robust, showing something coming, and then it drops it or it pushes it back. And I'd like to highlight that there was some pushback that was done within the last 24 hours. Yesterday, when I showed this image, this was the 18Z run from October 24. I showed this, and it was the next one, just 68 hours. This was valid for 18Z on Thursday, October 31. This was for 1 p.m. on Thursday, and we saw that we definitely had some kind of system, especially right there to the south of Jamaica. We see Jamaica right here. We saw some isobars, we saw an area of low pressure, lots of heavy rainfall, some kind of tropical system, if not a tropical storm, maybe a low-end hurricane somewhere to the south of Jamaica for 1 p.m. on Thursday, October 31. But look at what this latest run of the 18Z GFS has for the same time period. This is what we're talking about. The GFS can lead people astray. So many persons out there showing the GFS. Oh, the GFS is showing this. Oh, the GFS is showing that. This is why we need to stay informed with what the U.S. National Hurricane Center is showing. These guys are the experts. These guys are the ones who input all of the information that they gather from these systems into the supercomputer models. They are the ones that are in control of the supercomputer models in general. So this is why we have to work with what they're saying, and as of right now, there's nothing being highlighted, but there are a lot of persons still posting about what's expected across the Caribbean, and we see the GFS starting to delay with what forecast. This was yesterday, showing Thursday at 1 p.m, having the system to the southeast of Jamaica. This is today's run, Thursday at 1 p.m, having the system more so towards Central America, right there in the southwestern Caribbean. But what we can take away from both models is that regardless of development, there's a lot of rainfall coming. We see a lot of greens that represent 1 all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall in the dark green colors. The yellows that represent 6 inches all the way up into the reds that represents what, 16 inches of rainfall. There's a lot of rainfall that's expected. So even if we don't get the next name on the list, that is Nadine, there's definitely going, well, not Nadine, my apologies, we're long past Nadine and Oscar, definitely out of the way. Next name, Patty, and we've already seen the memes coming out about Patty and cocoa bread. So next name is Patty. Even if we don't get Patty, we still have a lot of rainfall that is expected across the Caribbean, including Jamaica, and it's going to be starting as early as this weekend, especially across northern parishes, because the frontal system's trough that has induced across portions of the Greater Antilles will start bringing a lot of rainfall as early as tonight. As a matter of fact, it has already started. I'm recording this video at 7:26 p.m. and there's already rainfall across northern Jamaica as we speak. A lot of rainfall, and there's a lot more of that to come for portions of Portland, St. Mary's, section of St. Anne, Eastern St. Thomas for sure, and this will be continuing for the next couple of days. So there might be some amount of isolated flash flooding, especially across Portland. Maybe some landslides in some areas. So ensure that you are on the alert if you live in those northeastern parishes. So we can see both the Euro and the GFS models are still in consensus that there's going to be a lot of rainfall within the next 7 days. This map from the Euro, this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Friday, November 1. And we see the GFS definitely still more robust than what the Euro right here is showing. We see more of the purples and the pinks and the salmon colors that represents anywhere from 3 all the way up to 6 inches of rainfall, especially across the waters to the north of Puerto Rico, across the Leeward Islands, sections of the northern portion of Hispaniola, eastern Cuba, northern Jamaica, the western Caribbean including the Cayman Islands, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, sections of northern or northeastern Guatemala, northern coastal areas of Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. And we see that the GFS models is in consensus with this forecast, GFS is even showing more of that rainfall spilling into the central Caribbean, including sections of Haiti right here with all of the purples. But we do see, for the most part, there's going to be a lot of dark red colors that represents up to 2 inches of rainfall. So even if we don't have the consensus across much of the waters of the central Caribbean on both maps, we definitely see the consensus for the 2 inches of rainfall as opposed to the purples that represent the 3 inches or more. We even see some blues in there. Look at what the key on the right is showing for the blues. That's anywhere from 12 all the way to 20 inches of rainfall. If that actually comes to fruition, that would be ridiculous, especially right here across portion of Nicaragua, where there could definitely be a lot of flooding, if not landslides. Alright, so that's it for the model runs. Let us focus our attention on the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have a tropical wave right here across the Caribbean, passing by Jamaica as we speak. Another tropical wave right here across the eastern Caribbean. A ridge of high pressure right here up to the north that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And with these easterly trade winds, we have numerous troughs pushing along from east to west. One trough right here. Another tropical wave right here just to the east of the Cabo Verde Island. And we can see the frontal system stretching all the way from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into portion of the Greater Antilles. You can also see another frontal system right here stretching all the way from the southeastern United States all the way out into the waters of the open Atlantic. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can definitely make out the clouds associated with that frontal system stretching all the way from Florida. Though weak, we can still make out the clouds associated with it. We can see the clouds associated with that other frontal system stretching into portion of the Greater Antilles, including Jamaica right here. We can make out the clouds associated with the tropical wave now pushing into portion of Central America. Definitely moved quickly. And we can see the clouds associated with the moisture across the eastern Caribbean, not as much as what we're seeing across Central America right now. And we can see the clouds associated with that other tropical, well, that trough interacting with the intertropical convergence zone across the main development region, that other tropical wave right here to the east of the Cabo Verde Islands. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, October 25, 2024. If you remember yesterday's video, we highlighted that the models were definitely showing some rainfall for northern parishes as well as some eastern parishes for Friday morning. And then we were expecting some rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes during Friday afternoon. And just for reference, you know, northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While eastern parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. And what ended up happening? As early as 4:50 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted right here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page, but they're also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we highlighted the rainfall that was affecting especially the waters to the north of Jamaica. Some of this definitely made it onshore across portions of Portland, coastal areas of St. Anne and Trelawney for sure. But at this point in time, at 4:50 a.m., we saw most of the rainfall coming into portions of eastern St. Thomas and Portland. We see the greens, we see the yellows that represent somewhat of moderate to heavy rainfall for sure. And then another post was made as the day was progressing at around 2:55 p.m. highlighting the visible satellite image of Jamaica, showing all of the clouds building across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes, definitely across Portland, some rainfall across portions of St. Andrew, Kingston, sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover for sure, section of Southern St. James, Southern Trelawney, St. Anne, definitely gotten on the mix. And look at all of these sparkling yellow dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we definitely had that thunderstorm activity taking place, especially across sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica. And even the infrared satellite images were posted at around 5:25 p.m. highlighting the cloud cover. Look at all of the high cold cloud tops that represent the cumulonimbus clouds. The blues, the greens, the yellows, oranges, reds, the blacks. And we also saw the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strike, if not lightning flashes, pushing from east to west all across the island. So most southern parishes definitely got on some thunderstorm activity today, from St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland for sure. And at that time we saw that we're getting in on more overcast skies than anything else. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can definitely make out what took place. More so that kind of easterly or kind of east-northeasterly flow across the island. Then we had all of those clouds building up, bubbling up as the day progressed into some cumulonimbus clouds, and we can see what was taking place right before all was said and done with the day. Look at all of this thunderstorm burst right here to the southwest of Westmoreland right there. Definitely some bad weather out to sea if there are fishermen or ships out there. They're definitely getting it, definitely feeling the effects of some bad weather out there for sure. But if we take a look at See Jamaica's YouTube channel, highlighting what took place today, this is from about 1:52 p.m. and we can definitely see that we definitely had some rainfall. We see the cars right here, actually with their windshield wipers on. Some people with their umbrellas out for sure, walking with their umbrellas. We can definitely make out the rainfall. They were definitely getting out some amount of light to moderate rainfall at that time for sure. At around 1:53 p.m. definitely had some rainfall taking place across the corporate area. And if we take a look at even the Flatbridge cam, we saw that we're getting in on some rainfall at this time, 2:03 p.m. So anywhere from 1:30 to about 2:30, we're definitely getting in on some amount of afternoon rainfall for sure. Definitely see it's nothing too serious, just some light to moderate rainfall for sure. Nothing to bring the real Cobra down or bring it into flood stage or anything like that. Vehicles going about their business, nothing serious at all. But we definitely had some rainfall, and these live streams confirm it. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just subscribe to See Jamaica. They have these streams running all day 24/7. Usually when they're down only when we have some kind of power outage in the area. And we know how the Jamaica Public Service can be at times. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, that's the CIMH, we can definitely see that for the past 24 hours, we're definitely getting in some amount of rainfall, especially across northern Jamaica during the morning, eastern Jamaica during the morning as well, and then section of some central and western parishes, more so southern and western parishes during the afternoon hours for sure. So this map does indeed confirm where we had that rainfall, and we even have some comments confirming the rainfall as well. Sylvia Bando stating rain falling in Brownstown, St. Anne. Now I love the rain. We also had Gavin Thompson stating a lot of rain here in Maypen. And even on our Instagram page, we had Anto_Netty_89 stating got some pretty heavy showers in Stony Hill. So that indeed confirms the rainfall across portions of the island today. And we know Stony Hill is in St. Andrew. So we definitely had some rainfall in the eastern parish of St. Andrew for sure. Alright, so let's just take a look at the latest still image from the Weather Nerd site. The latest image just came out at 25 minutes past the hour, so 0025 UTC is about the same as 7:25 p.m. Jamaica time. So this one just came out 11 minutes ago. And we can definitely make out the thunderstorms still affecting the waters to the west of the island, to the southwest of Westmoreland for sure, definitely getting nailed. We can even make out some patches of clouds across northeastern Jamaica, just to show that we're already getting in on that rainfall. And there's a lot of that to come. There's going to be a lot of rainfall for this era, well, not that era, for this era in general. Northeastern Jamaica, it encompasses Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, spilling into section of Trelawney for sure, with that moist northeasterly or east northeasterly flow brought about by the frontal system, inducing the trough into portion of the island. So this is just the beginning, and we can see confirmation on the latest Cuban Doppler radar image that just came out at 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7:30 p.m. Jamaica time. So this one just came out 7 minutes ago. Look at the heavy rainfall already. Look at the greens, look at the yellows. That represents some amount of moderate to heavy rainfall coming into portion of Portland and St. Mary as we speak. So they're already getting nailed, and there's a lot more of that to come as we go throughout the weekend. Don't even know when to tell you guys to do your laundry, because it's going to be wet continuously. And the thing about this rainfall, yes, we can have some of it spilling into portions of some southern parishes, but knowing all of these hills up into the inland areas, southern Portland, northern St. Thomas, northern St. Andrew, more than likely the hills are going to be hogging most of the rainfall. Not saying that some of this rainfall can spill into portions of Stony Hill, Golden, spring up into the hills of St. Andrew, but those are the areas where they are most likely to settle, rather than giving a lot of the rainfall into portions of southern Jamaica, especially in the nighttime. Most times it's usually in the afternoon that these rain showers want to spill into southern Jamaica. And we can also make out the heavy rainfall affecting the waters to the west of the island. Look at the greens, look at the yellows that represent some moderate to heavy rainfall to the southwest of Westmoreland, to match it to what we just saw on the latest still image. For sure, this is what is happening right now. This is just ridiculous amount of rainfall out to sea. If there are persons out there, they're definitely getting in on some amount of bad weather. If there are persons actually doing fishing, or if they're actually some kind of tourist ships out there, they're definitely getting it right now. If we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar Station radar, we can definitely see that we have some rainfall across a portion of eastern Cuba. We have some rainfall across the western peninsula of Haiti. And we can even make out that rainfall across Portland for sure. Let us look at the very latest still image. This is the very latest. We can make out all of this rainfall. The moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall coming into portion of Portland. Some rainfall as well across the western peninsula of Haiti. If we take a look at the latest Cayman radar, we can see the latest image showing right here the rainfall to the west of Jamaica, just like what we saw on the satellite images, as well as the Cuban Doppler radar. Some isolated showers to the south of Grand Cayman, some rainfall to the west of there as well. And as of right now, the latest that's happening on the Barbican Square Cam, not much happening. People in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing significant in terms of bad weather, and that's expected throughout the night. That's if we don't get some rainfall to spill in from Portland or St. Mary from the northeast tonight. We'll see exactly what unfolds, but my bet is that most of that rainfall will stay all the way up into the hills and not affect Barbican at all. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 27 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, as well as 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston. We can definitely see that flow of winds from the northeast to make way for a lot of rainfall across section of northern Jamaica tonight into tomorrow. We can also make out the cooler temperatures. Usually that's expected right behind the cold front. The frontal system is somewhere right in here, and it makes sense that the cooler than average temperatures should be across portions of Cuba, the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos, Florida right there. Hopefully this frontal system dips more so and brings us some cooler weather. As of right now, the forecast for 18th on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday, is showing some slight orange colors that we can see by the key on the right. That represents anywhere from 1 all the way up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica is about 89 degrees Fahrenheit. And when 89 degrees Fahrenheit is calculated, it's about the same as 31.6 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 all the way up to 33 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Saturday. So we always have to try to beat the heat with these tips. Always dress down, wear light clothing, and use sunscreen. Seek shade when outside. Eat fresh fruits. Try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to keep hydrated. Drink lots of water. Even if you're not thirsty, drink water throughout the day. Stay hydrated. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Saturday, we can make out all the browns that represent the Saharan dust, stretching all the way from Africa across the main development region into portion of the eastern and central to the southern Caribbean right there. We can see the darker shades of browns right here across the main development region. We know the darker shades represents that vigorous plume that we know can cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of asthma or sinusitis issues in some persons. What we have here across the eastern to the central Caribbean is somewhat of a plume, but nothing too vigorous to cause the very hazy skies or to trigger the respiratory illnesses. But we don't want any Saharan dust at all, and we have some of that into portion of the Caribbean tomorrow. But then like it's going to be making it into Jamaica by Saturday. Jamaica is right here under the word port. Stands for Port-au-Prince, Haiti, right there. And for 2 p.m. on Saturday, Jamaica should be in the clear for the most part. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that we still have those lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues across much of the western Atlantic from the Gulf of Mexico into the Caribbean. It's only the waters to the far south of Jamaica where we see the purples that represent the 2-meter wave heights, as we can see by the key on the right. Well, anything less than the 2-meter wave heights in the blues and the lighter shades of blues should be anywhere from 1.5 meter wave heights all the way down to 0.5 of a meter wave height. And that's because the winds for the most part across the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico should be averaging anywhere from 10 to 20 knots in the green colors, averaging all the way up to 25 knots in the slight yellow colors. And we can definitely see the flow for the most part coming in from the east across majority of the basin, kind of curving southward in the southwestern Caribbean as we head into portions of Central America. But let us focus our attention on the close-up of Jamaica regarding the wind forecast. We know that the wind has a lot to do with the forecast across Jamaica. And tomorrow, as expected, more of a northeasterly kind of flow, especially on the north coast. So expect that rainfall coming into portion of northern Jamaica, anywhere from Portland all the way back to Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary. Definitely in for some amount of rainfall tonight, if not into tomorrow morning for sure. And then during the afternoon, this is where the rainfall is expected. You know why? Because we have the least amount of winds in these spots. We have more blues than anything else that represent anywhere from 0 to 5 knot winds. So we have little wind down there, which means that down there is definitely going to be hotter. That's where all of the daytime heating rainfall is going to be expected during the afternoon hours. So look out for that. We're going to be having those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds, anywhere from Kingston, St. Andrew westward, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth. If we get some of that rainfall into St. Thomas, we are lucky for sure. But look out for it and try to get that laundry done early if you live on the south coast. If you live on the north coast, I don't know what to tell you because the rain has already begun into portions of St. Mary and Portland as we speak, just like what we just saw on the latest Cuban Doppler radar images. And as of such, it makes sense that even as early as tonight, the Euro and the GFS models are showing the blues that represent rainfall across northern Jamaica. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 8 p.m. Jamaica time. So about 14 minutes from now, considering that it's 7:46 p.m. right now. And it makes sense because we just saw all of the rainfall that's taking place. As a matter of fact, let's reload these images and see what's currently happening. So this is the latest image that just came out at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 7:40 p.m. Jamaica time. So this just came out 6 minutes ago, and we still have a lot of moderate to heavy rainfall coming into portion of northern Jamaica, sections of Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland definitely getting nailed as we speak with some amount of moderate to heavy rainfall for sure. And as we head into tomorrow, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 4 a.m. Jamaica time. And we don't see much change. Still see the blues represent rainfall across northern, especially northeastern Jamaica. GFS having a lot more rainfall with the darker blues and the greens, especially out to sea. That represents a lot of rainfall, and there's a chance that that could meander and get on land for sure with that northeasterly flow. We can also see, but around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time, we still have the blues that represent rainfall across portion of northern Jamaica. Eastern Jamaica might get in on some of the mix too. See some rainfall right there to the southeast of the island on the Euro and on the GFS. Definitely some interesting weather tomorrow. Then by afternoon now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As a matter of fact, let's go back one. Yeah, right here. So 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. And look at what we see. Not only do we still have that rainfall across northern Jamaica, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, but we are starting to get in on that daytime heating rainfall across some southern parishes. Section of Western St. Thomas, section of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, section of Hanover for sure, getting in on some amount of rainfall. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. So look out for that afternoon rainfall if you live on those southern parishes. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the next 24 hours, we can definitely see what's expected. Keep in mind that both of these maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until then. Well, could be for a portion of northeastern Jamaica, which explains all of the purpose. Look at this. All the way up to 3, maybe up to 4 inches of rainfall, 5 inches of rainfall. For sections of Portland, St. Mary's, St. Anne, some flash flooding could definitely be in the forecast for these spots. We can also see some rainfall across sections of southern parishes, western Jamaica. GFS definitely a bit more robust than the Euro, especially where northeastern Jamaica is concerned with that rainfall. Either way, we'll take it. We're in the month of October. We need the rainfall to cool down the temperatures. Temperatures have been hot, and clearly October is the wettest month for the island of Jamaica. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 170 millimeters of rainfall. That's up to 7 inches of rainfall. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 8.5 inches of rainfall. That's about the same as 212 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives throughout the year in terms of rainfall, you can visit this website right here, weatherandclimate.com. And you can use this nice little graphic right here to convert rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. So you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some weak tropical waves pushing from east-west across the Caribbean. We see the moisture associated with them. You can see some clouds associated with the troughs and tropicals in the portion of the western Caribbean, section of Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. Some clouds associated with that frontal system spilling into portion of the Greater Antilles, touching all the way up into the northern portion of North Atlantic. The usual afternoon thunderstorms across portion of northern South America. Some rainfall associated with the intertropical convergence zone attached to some troughs and the tropical wave across the Cabo Verde Islands right there. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let us see what's happening over there near Puerto Rico. We can definitely make out some isolated hit or miss showers to the east of Antigua and Barbuda, some rainfall to the north of Puerto Rico, to the north of the Dominican Republic, to the southeast of the Dominican Republic. And if we reload these images from earlier today, we can see that portion of eastern, central, and western Puerto Rico definitely got in on their fair share of a rainfall today. Not much across the US or British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, or St. Martin. But if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can definitely make out some isolated showers pushing from east to west, in and around the island, passing to the north, heading for a portion of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Some isolated showers that affected portion of Martinique earlier today. Some more coming in from the east. Some of it affecting portion of St. Lucia, sections of Tobago, especially the waters to the east of there, coming in for some amount of rainfall. You can also see some isolated hit or miss showers coming into portion of Trinidad as well right there. So maybe look out for some more of that tonight. And if we take a look at the weather via Doppler radar images, we can definitely see that rainfall even better across northeastern Venezuela, northwestern Venezuela, sections of Colombia, sections of Nicaragua, Belize, northern Guatemala, the Yucatan Peninsula getting in some amount of rainfall right there. And if we also take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, look at this line of rainfall that's expected all courtesy of the frontal system across portion of the Greater Antilles, anywhere from eastern Cuba into portion of the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, especially the northern portions of those countries, sections of Puerto Rico. Not seeing much rain across the Leeward Islands, but we do see some rainfall in store for portions of the Windward Islands. GFS definitely a bit more robust than what the Euro is showing, but definitely some isolated shores anywhere from Guadeloupe, southward Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, section of Trinidad and Tobago, definitely in consensus for some rainfall within the next 24 hours. So too portions of northeastern Venezuela, section of Colombia, coastal areas of Suriname and French Guyana. We also see some rainfall in store for portion of southern Venezuela, western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, especially eastern Nicaragua, section of Honduras, section of Belize, Guatemala, the Yucatan Peninsula. Not seeing much happening across El Salvador though, and we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.